for consumers. So let me talk to you a little bit about brewing beer. I'm sorry, before we get there. So our launch product is called Immersion. And Immersion allows home beer brewers to create world-class lagers without the use of a refrigerator. So now let's get on to brewing beer. So just as a brief overview, you combine hops and barley into a pot, and you boil that for around 1 to 2 hours. You cool that down, and you ferment at either room temperature for an ale or refrigerated temperature for a lager. Now that brings us to our primary issue. So home beer brewers are at a substantial disadvantage because the main thing that separates home brewed beer from commercially brewed beer is the temperature at which you can maintain during fermentation. And the current solution for home brewers is this. So we have created an incredible product that takes the power of a refrigerator and shrinks it down into a very small, sexy consumer package. Now, how do we go from this to that? Well, we've developed a patent-pending solid-state cooling engine that actually sucks heat out of your fermenting beer through our transfer rod and out the sink on the top of the device. And, well, we had a proof of concept, and it was pretty ugly, but it worked. And we refined it a little bit, and we showed it to a lot of home brewers, and we got their feedback. They wanted many things changed, and we ended up with the version that we have here today. So we had this version actually on our website for a little while, and we collected thousands of email addresses expressing considerable interest in purchasing one of our devices. So we created a Kickstarter. And under a week, we were successfully funded. And in fact, we've had a massive viral pickup that even we were not expecting to see. And this is just an incredible opportunity, and I'm incredibly excited after 2 years of work to finally be able to see the full consumer response of this. Now, in fact, we were very interested in knowing how big this market was. In fact, everybody here knows a home brewer of some sort. Well, in fact, you all know me, and I've talked to a lot of you who have home brewer friends. So, but what's really interesting, there are about 1.2 million of them in the United States, and this number has been growing at 25% per year since 2009. In fact, if you were to put home brewers on the scale of all craft breweries in the US, they would be number 2 behind Boston Beer Company, which produces Sam Adams. In fact, they produce 20% of all the craft beer produced in the United States today. So, according to the American Home Brewers Association, home brewers, on average, spend $800 per year on ingredients and equipment. They're 45 years old, they're male, married, and they make over $100,000 per year. So if you take that 1.2 million number, multiply by 100,000, we're looking at around $1 billion per year in the home brewing industry. So that's very exciting. So where do we go from here? Well, our Kickstarter is successfully funded, and we're looking for an investment of $500,000 in convertible note rounds. Now, we have a burn rate of around $18,000 per month, and we're looking to increase our staff by 2 additional assemblers and increase our ability to purchase raw materials. So that would cause our raw material purchases to increase, double roughly, but because we're purchasing at a lower price, we have a higher margin, we're really able to achieve over 3 times the amount of reoccurring revenue with the additional working capital that we're looking for today. So where are we? We just launched our Kickstarter. We're incredibly excited about where we're going with it. By the summer, we're looking to sell around 1,000 units shipped. And then by the first quarter by fall, we're looking to have an inventory build. And then by winter, shipping around 2,000 units. Next year, we're hoping to ship 5,000 units by the summer. And we're incredibly excited about this opportunity. Our whole team is. In fact, so my name is Aaron Walls. I am an MBA from Cornell University. My partner, Matt Goff, is a biomedical PhD student, and he was really the mad scientist behind this operation. And our third party, Evgeny Tkachenko, he is the regimented, detail-oriented partner, and he keeps all of us in check. He's a production engineer at Schlumberger, and we are incredibly excited about our opportunity here, and I welcome any questions.
After the U.S., which other countries?
We've received a lot of interest. In fact, about 30% of our sales in the Kickstarter have been from Europe. So Germany, France, and the United Kingdom. Okay. A lot in Australia as well. So majority of the English-speaking nations or the nations that speak English fluently.
Do they drink beer in Canada?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a big portion.
Do you count that as U.S. or is
well, that's a good point. Yeah, so no, I don't. That's also, yeah, thanks.
How are you making this?
So right now we have a number of suppliers who are actually manufacturing and fabricating the individual components. We have about 5 or 6 of them, and all of those suppliers ship it to us, and we assemble them currently in our lab at Cornell, and or at least that's where prototyping units have been produced. I'm graduating in about 2 months, and the plan is to take our shop and move it to Boulder, Colorado, where we're going to have a far grander ability to assemble these units.
We're in Colorado.
Boulder.
You poor thing.
Okay. So quick feedback on the questions. So the first feedback, going to an investor, I wouldn't put your addressable market as $1 billion just because a million people make $100,000
No,
a year.
no, it's a million, 1.2, he's misspoke, it's 1.2, spend $800 a year, 1.2 million. I just did the math.
Okay, I was thinking your addressable market was their salary.
No.
Okay, so the question is, how have you thought about marketing and customer acquisition? Just because you have a great product, that doesn't mean much in the world. You've got to really find your customers.
Absolutely. We had a failed Kickstarter last summer, and we learned that we needed to do a much better job connecting with our consumers. In fact, we went to a homebrewing conference last July. We got picked up by a magazine called Brew Your Own. That an article came out about us about 2 days after our Kickstarter ended, and we realized we had a product market fit issue going into the Kickstarter. And after this magazine was released, we found truly where our market was. I mean, we were flooded with email addresses that you saw up there. And so one part is magazine, one part is social. Facebook is we've seen an immense amount of traction in just over a week. We're at around 12,000 views or so. And in fact, in our Kickstarter campaign, Facebook accounts for about 20% of our sales at this point. So Facebook, magazines, brew conferences, and we're also planning on sponsoring homebrew competitions in large cities.
Just a quick follow-up on that. So Facebook in itself, there's a large user base there, but just having a Facebook page doesn't mean
No,
anything.
not at
So
all.
How do you drive that?
Great question.
How do you get those users to get more users and get a little virality factor?
Right. So we're actively engaging with our users. We've been boosting posts as well as taking out targeted Facebook ads based on the interests of the consumers. So, and we found that there are about 20,000 people on Facebook that have defined themselves as being home beer brewers, and obviously that's a lot smaller than that large number. But so between Facebook as our online hub, and we have review units going out to magazines, and we're culturing relationships with the 2 major homebrewing magazines within the United States, and they actually have a pretty nice global distribution as well.
I think I might have missed it if you had it, but what's the price point of the product?
Great question. No, I did not include that, so I'm sorry about that. So the price point is $299.
Okay.
And sorry.
Yeah, so I guess the question I had beyond that was, I totally understand how you're trying to reach individual home brewers for now. You're trying to build a social environment. You try to get some marketing stuff around what home brewers are reading or what they're consuming in terms of content. What other distribution channels do you potentially have available? Are there retailers that are serving to some component of the home brewing market? How do you think about that, and then at what stage does that distribution channel open up for you?
Sure. So at that conference, we were approached by BSG Handcraft, which is the industry's largest distributor. They expressed a lot of interest in having us on, but they wanted to make sure that the price that they were purchasing at us made sense. At this point, we're too small in volume to really walk into the distributor and have it be a situation that makes a lot of sense for us. So we would like to see what we can do in the interim until we get to that volume play to truly make that happen. Also, since we launched our campaign, we've received around 50 emails from individual home beer shops that were very interested in carrying the product. In fact, there are about 760 homebrew shops around the United States. And putting that in perspective, there are only about 900 Bed Bath & Beyonds and 200 Crate and Barrels of Williams-Sonoma. So, there's a massive market that really sells these units.
And on that price point, I understand this is early, so it's going to be a bit high. What's the cost of goods sold? What are the components?
Sure. So cost of goods sold at this point is raw materials is around $120, and then labor will scale above that, and that's purchasing in 1,000-unit quantities. So as we've been building our one-off units, we've been a lot closer to our $250 to $300 mark, which given that home brewers are very do-it-yourself sort of people, it's very nice to have the barrier to entry be very high for these people. So it then again incites them to purchase from us.
Advisory board?
So right now we are in Cornell's accelerator program. So we've been mentored by a number of professors there, as well
Name
as
names.
Tom Scriver, Stephen Gall, and Dan Cohen, as well as we have Ken Rother, who is the CTO of Discovery Networks, who's been helping us a lot with our electrical engineering endeavors. And we're actively searching for a more permanent board as they try to kick us out the door.
One other question. Can you envision an either next generation product or like a premium product for the brewers who want to spend more to do?
Absolutely, and it's been fascinating to see on our Kickstarter page, we've been including a fermenter with it for a premium above the current price, and that is the single most popular option. So we have the ability to now, or at least we have some hard data to suggest that people are very willing to purchase an additional item from us. And by creating an all-in-one package, it could very well be a premium step up. And there's a lot of places to go. Brewers really like stainless steel, they really like glass, and right now we're just in plastic. So there's a lot of movement and opportunity to move in this market.
So you had mentioned, since you mentioned you're raising you want to raise $500,000. So when you were if you took a check from an investor, what do you tell them that $500,000 has run out? Where do you hope to be?
So we, I would take that conversation offline, given this is a public profile, and our forum and our attorneys had recommended we don't talk about the next product since we don't have the legal protection behind it. But
Okay.
there is, we're looking for a Series A beyond that, and the next product that we have is looking beyond home beer brewers and to general beer lovers and being able to connect those two dots. So that's really all I can say at this point, but I'd love to chat offline.
I don't drink beer, but I'm really excited. I know a lot of people who do.
Wonderful.
You just have up to 10 minutes. You don't have to use the full 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.